I'm a guy that's 25. Lego Star Wars is my life. I like Ryan Johnson. I'm Rich Boy J. Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and this is going to be update number 52 of the Starkiller based mock build series. Before I get into the video, I want to give a very special thanks to those of you who contributed via donations, via super chat on the live streams. So shout out to Brickopotamus, Cosmic Brick 44, Jamie Dore, Captain Lego Star Wars, Lamborghini Waffle Sauce, Ethan Blissett, Dozzleguy, Michael Kulycky, Greg Keith, Saint Zinker, Gavin Dodson, and Rebel Pilot. You guys are awesome. I am so appreciative that you're willing to contribute to the mock and make this possible. If you are not tuning into the live stream, I certainly urge you to do so, because it's a great way for you to not only see the mock early, but to also hang out, talk Star Wars with the boyos. What more could you want than that? These 2 weeks were a good one. I did not want to have to postpone Starkiller another week, but it is what it is. You have some orders that come in late. I basically had an order that came in this week that I really needed to make the progress I wanted to make on this build, so that's why ultimately the episode was delayed. But I think you guys are going to appreciate what I've done this week. We pretty much finished up the Rockwork on this section of the mock. This is the last Rockwork I have to do until the next section of Rockwork I'm going to have to do, but I've at least bought myself a little time until the next time I have to do Rockwork, and I think it looks pretty good. I can't wait to show off the finished Rockwork to you guys. We also started working on the interior of the command center section of the build, and we also added in some lights. So sit back, relax, and let's check out Starkiller Base. And the Rockwork on this section of the build is finally complete. Feels so good to say that. This was a pretty interesting section of Rockwork, given how it curves around. I've never had to do this much of a curve on Rockwork, but I think it came out pretty well. I'm happy with it. I was especially proud of this section of the Rockwork right here. I don't know, just something about those wedge slopes coming together right there I think looked really nice. And it also integrates pretty seamlessly into the rest of the mountain, so I think that's good. The reason I have the top section right here tiled off is because I'm going to basically have a wall right here, and this is going to be the base to the command center that's going to be sitting right up here on top of this. It's going to be where Hux is at. It's going to be where some just first order people are at computers typing away. This is where Hux is going to be overlooking the trench battle that's going to be happening further towards that direction on the mock. So I like the way this looks. I'm super happy that I'm done with this Rockwork, because this is the last bit of Rockwork I'll have to do. At least in the meantime, I'm probably going to end up having to do some Rockwork on top of this entire section. But for now, I think it's going to work out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. You'll also notice up here, I have these slopes jutting out. There's basically just going to be a panel right here that is flush with these slopes. And there's going to be a long window that goes across up here that I'm going to have to build, so I'll probably try to work on that as well. But my main goal for this update is just getting as much of this command station section built as possible, because I really do just want to see the interior up here. And then once that's done, honestly, the rest of the sections that kind of go across the right side of this are pretty straightforward in terms of just the build design. It's going to be a little repetitive, but still very straightforward. This is really the most complex section of the design area. One of the issues that I ran into when trying to get all of this to come together was really just the leveling of this build, and it's something that you have to be very cognizant of. If you've never built tall, then you probably haven't run into this issue. But when you start building tall, it's not as easy to eyeball and see like, oh, this is this many bricks up. I mean, I guess you could just count it individually each time, but when you're dealing with a bunch of the same color on the inside, for example, a stack of gray bricks, or if you just are like me and don't want to have to count every single time, you end up stacking up large sections and kind of putting it up against it and saying, okay, like this is this tall. But if you don't have everything pressed down compactly, you'll end up with measurements that are off by a plate or so. That happens especially when you start building really tall like I did on the stage area. So that was a bit of a problem. I honestly spent much more time on this section than I normally would have, just trying to basically get everything leveled up here and make sure that even the supports that I had were the correct level. Some of the sections of the Rockwork were either leaning, so the heights that I was getting for it weren't quite accurate, or they just weren't compressed down enough. So if you build tall, make sure you're pressing all your bricks down enough. I mean, as I say that, as I have some gaps right here, those aren't super terrible, but in terms of just getting everything lined up, that's something that you really need to be cognizant of, and it'll save you some time down the road. So basically what I'm going to start doing now is building that wall that goes across here. I'm going to have to build up some supports in here to hold the floor of the command center, and hopefully we can even get a bit of the interior of the command center done. So let's see how that goes. Real quick, we're going to take a break from that Rockwork and command center station to show you guys a bit of progress I got done on the outside of things. So I just finished the stream. I got this platform built up, and you can see there's some Rockwork right here, and then even the part of the snow mound that kind of leads up to this section. So if we do a quick little zoom in here, you can see there's going to be a little snow hill here that basically this plate, and then the two in front of them are going to have to kind of form into. So that's kind of cool. I like the way that's looking so far. Another platform I got done was this one. This one is actually a super important one. This is the one that's going to sit to the far right of the MOC. So basically there's these two. There's going to be this one right here that I also built. That one's built up. And then this one's going to be at the far right, basically on the other side of this. The reason it has this gap here in it, you can see there's this weird U shape, is because there's going to be an elevator built into this, and it's going to basically pass through the floor right here. This is going to be the elevator that leads into the elevator door right here. You can see where the stormtrooper is hanging out, and I actually want to make it a functional elevator. We're not going to get to that in this update, but this week I got done these platforms, so I just wanted to show you a little bit of progress outside of what we were currently working on primarily, and I like the way it's coming out. I think that once this elevator is functional, it'll be a very exciting part of the build. The idea is that the heroes will come up to this section right here. They'll take the elevator down into Starkiller base, and then that's where they will try to rescue Rey. So hopefully that works out exactly as I've envisioned it, but right now let's also check out what I've gotten done so far on the Rockwork and the command center. Rockwork's looking awesome, and the command center is looking even better. Loving the way this section is coming out up here. You can see I have those First Order / Star Destroyer windows here that basically trapezoidal pattern. This is accurate to what you see in the film, and I'm happy I was able to replicate it here. It looks pretty good. If we flip this around, you guys can get an even better look at the inside of the command center, and I think this is going to be one of the coolest rooms that we have here in this build. Actually, I had a 501st troop standing here just to make sure the clearance of the windows looked good, and I love this because this is going to look almost exactly like the scene where Hux is looking onto the battle. You can see him here. He'll be looking out the window. The oscillator will basically just be right outside the window, like right there. That's going to look awesome. And then the camera kind of pulls in, and then you can look at the rest of the room in here. So the room right now is a little bit of a mess. I have stuff just kind of hanging out everywhere, but for good reason. So if you're wondering what these two white pits are right here, there's basically some Technic bricks right here, and some on the other side of this, like in there. And I want to wire some LEDs into there to just give the slightest glow underneath here. And then there's going to be some tiles, the grill tiles right here. I can pull these up. And there's some blue trans 1x2 plates right there. Trans blue 1x2 plates right there. And that's going to basically give like a blue glow under the floor. That's what we see in the film. And I think that's going to look so awesome whenever I get this section completely covered up. I had to wait a little bit to get the parts in to do this. That's part of the reason why this episode was delayed. But by the end of this episode, we're hopefully going to have a mostly completed floor in this room. Another cool thing that I implemented in this room is this, I'm not really sure what to call it. It's basically an elevated floor up here. So Hux kind of turns around and he talks to, I think, a First Order lieutenant right here with two snowtroopers behind him, and these studs are left open because there's actually going to be some consoles right here. So there's actually going to be people sitting at chairs at like desks working on stuff right behind Hux, and he's going to be looking out the window. Man, I'm so excited to get this room to come together. So that's what I have to show you for right now. I'm going to go ahead and start working on this room. Hopefully get some LEDs wired in, give a little bit of a glow underneath the floor, get all these tiles connected right here. and we'll see what this looks like. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, that glowing floor is actually looking very cool. I got the LEDs wired in there, and you can see that it's glowing pretty nicely. I think especially once we get a ceiling in this room and it's a little bit darker overhead, it'll really pop. If you're looking at it from some lower angles, it's kind of harder to tell that the flow is glowing, but from this view, it looks exactly as it should. If I actually go and show you guys what it looks like in the film, I'm very happy with this. Man, that's so freaking cool. So you can see I set up a little scene. I have the first order officer with his snow troopers talking to Hux right here. Just wanted to set that up to really give you guys a vibe for what this room is going to be like. I also put together a kind of cool little console build. I need to make a lot more. The idea was to kind of get these cheese slopes in here and then the one below it to basically replicate this shape right here. You can tell, yeah, looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It would be great to have some sort of print right here on this part, but I'm using a reverse tile right here, and there's just not a ton of options for that in dark gray and having a print right there. I might be able to find some stickers. I might actually do that to get a nice keyboard design, but basically these consoles are going to come all the way somewhat close to the back of the room. I'm thinking of also including maybe some more consoles like right here and right here just to kind of fill in these sections, because as is, the chair is going to be right here. There'll be some people sitting right here, but this front part of the build is going to be pretty empty. I might add some guys walking around, maybe some cargo crates, maybe some technical stuff, maybe even an Astro Droid kind of rolling around right here. Maybe I'll use one of the BB first order units. But nonetheless, this section is looking pretty awesome. I think this is a very good stopping point for this build right now. If we turn the MOC around kind of over this way, you get a look at what it looks like looking through the window, and I think that's an awesome view. Just looking through, seeing Hux talking to the officer, and then the glowing floor back there in the background. That looks pretty awesome. I am a huge fan of the way this section is turning out. I didn't mention this earlier, but I do need to replace these 1x6 tiles in light bluish gray with some dark bluish gray ones, so that will be done. But this is Starkiller Base so far, guys. I hope you enjoyed this update. I feel like got significant amount of work done. I'm working on more interior, which is kind of fun, just because this is a room that I really remembered from the film, and it's cool to build a room that has so many First Order people just working, doing their business, and even Hux overlooking the battle. I think once the oscillator building gets built outside of this, it'll really look awesome. So this is Starkiller Base so far. Got some pretty good work done. Moving forward between this week and next week, I really just want to finish up this room in its entirety. And I think that's very possible. I ran out of pieces to get these chairs. That's why there's so many of these with this weird color scheme with the light bluish gray and the dark bluish gray on the chairs. But I have pieces en route to complete those, and this room will be fully closed in. There's going to be a ton of figures in this room, just people working for the First Order, and it's going to look pretty awesome once it all gets finished up. Another last thing I'm going to have to add is that there's a doorway right here at the back of the room. I want to build a little bit of a hallway. It's kind of going to go into the MOC that way. I don't want to make it go too far in, but basically if you're looking into the MOC, you're going to be able to see. So I'll probably have a short little hallway, and then either have a door at the end of the hallway, or maybe just have it turned so you can't see that far into the MOC. But that'll probably be a prime location to put some Easter eggs, because people won't really notice it if they're just looking down into the room like this. Like, they'll have to really get up in here to look deep into the hallway that's going to be right there. So that's it for Starkiller this week. Let's go ahead and move to the end segment of the video. And that's going to finish up today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out Starkiller Base. Of course, in the comment section below, let me know what you think of the build so far. I think it is coming out awesome. The net technique is really working for the snow. The interior is really coming along nicely. And that rock work, I am a big fan of. I'm very happy with what I was able to do for that. Moving forward, between this update and the next update, I want to completely finish the interior. I want to at least have the ability to set up all the exterior sections that are going to be lining up the other side of Starkiller Base, the ones that I've been working on right now. I have the basis for all of them, but I haven't built up on top of all of them. So my goal for this week is going to get something built on all of those base plates so I can actually line them up, see what they look like together, and hopefully it'll all work out. So that's going to finish things up today. If you guys like what I do, go ahead, support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.